Apple currently sells 7 different models of iPhone. Some are new, some date back to 2018. Some have 4G, others have 5G. Some cost $400, others cost $1,400. Look, if you're trying to buy an iPhone, that's a lot of stuff to get your head around. But don't worry, I'm here to help. Hi, I'm Patrick Holland, and I test and review the iPhone for CNET. Going back to 2007, when Steve Jobs launched the original iPhone, really you only had to decide one thing, whether to buy one with 4 gigabytes of storage or one with 8 gigabytes of storage. Now there are 7 models, including 5 that have come out in the past year, making it really hard to decide which is the iPhone that's best for you. But that's where I come in. Here's my list of best iPhones for 2021. And let's start with what I think is the best iPhone for most people, and that would be the iPhone 12. With support for 5G being its crown jewel feature, the $829 iPhone 12 marks the beginning of a new generation. In fact, it's basically the same as an iPhone 12 Pro, but you're getting a $170 discount. Both have the same design, the same display, the same insanely fast A14 Bionic chip, the same 5G support, the same support for MagSafe charging, the same selfie, wide and ultra-wide cameras. So what do you miss if you don't go Pro? Well, you don't get a telephoto camera, you don't get the ability to shoot Apple ProRAW photos, and you don't get that lovely matte finish back and stainless steel sides. Also, if you do decide to go for an iPhone 12, I highly recommend, if you have the budget for it, paying $50 more and going from 64 gigabytes of storage and getting the model with 128 gigabytes. Next is the best overall iPhone, and that is, without question, the iPhone 12 Pro Max. If you want the largest screen and the longest battery life on any iPhone, then the $1,099 iPhone 12 Pro Max is the way to go. Also, if you're into photos and video and you want to squeeze every last drop of image quality, then this is the phone to get. Aside from being the biggest and heaviest iPhone ever made, the 12 Pro Max has photo and video features not found on any other model. Bottom line is, if you can handle the size and weight of this phone behemoth, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is worth every penny of its price. In fact, the iPhone 12 Pro Max earned a CNET Editor's Choice distinction. But let's talk about the best iPhone deal, and that is the iPhone 11. If you don't need support for 5G, then the $599 iPhone 11 is the way to go, and it represents the absolute best value of any phone on this list. So much so that it is a CNET Editor's Choice. And you get so much for that price, like an A13 processor, excellent cameras, a solid battery life, and the choice of 6 colors. In contrast to the straight-sided 12 series, the iPhone 11 has curved edges, which many people prefer, and the only real drawback to this phone is going to be its screen. It still has an LCD one as opposed to a newer OLED panel. That said, don't let the screen turn you away. It's still very good in everyday use. Also, just like the iPhone 12, if you can afford an extra $50, I recommend getting the 128 gigabyte version. But now let's move to everyone's favorite on the list, the best cheap iPhone, and that would be the iPhone SE. At $399, you might think the only appeal of the iPhone SE is its cheap price. And to be honest, it's the most affordable phone on this list, and that is a big deal. On the outside, the iPhone SE has the same body as the iPhone 8. And it's the only iPhone on this list that has Touch ID, which in pandemic times is a plus, because using a face mask with Face ID is a frustrating experience. On the inside, the SE has the same A13 processor as the iPhone 11, and that takes the 2017 camera hardware and gives it a 2020 injection of Apple's computational photography power. The SE supports 4G and still has that classic iPhone design, which you may love or hate, but because of the newer processor, it's able to run the latest version of iOS and the newest apps. Next is the best small iPhone, and that is, without a doubt, the iPhone 12 mini. Who said small phones don't exist in 2021? The $729 iPhone 12 mini is brilliant because it has everything the iPhone 12 has. It's just smaller, has the same flat-sided design, support for 5G, OLED screen with support for HDR, The same body with IP68 dust and water resistance. It supports MagSafe wireless charging accessories, has the same A14 Bionic processor, runs the same iOS 14 software, and even has the same cameras. The iPhone 12 and 12 mini are the same phone, but one is small and the other isn't. Also, the iPhone 12 mini is a CNET editor's choice, and personally, the iPhone 12 mini is my daily driver, a phone I use every day. That said, I only recommend you get the 12 mini for its size. It is $100 cheaper than the iPhone 12, which might be a tempting reason to save a little moolah, but if you're not okay with a small phone, you might be disappointed or frustrated with its size. As with other phones on this list, if you can afford it, I recommend getting the 128GB version. Next on the list is the best premium iPhone, and that is the iPhone 12 Pro. While the iPhone 12 Pro Max is essentially the ultimate iPhone, its size, its weight, and price tag might be a turnoff to many people. That's where the $999 iPhone 12 Pro comes in. It has the same solid build, the same premium finish, it just costs $100 less. And yeah, you still get a telephoto camera, and you still get access to Apple ProRAW photos. And let's wrap up with the best iPhone under $500, and that would be the iPhone XR. The $499 iPhone XR is kind of like the middle child of the iPhone lineup. You have the iPhone SE, which costs $100 less and has a newer processor, but the XR offers something the SE doesn't. It's part of Apple's new generation of iPhone design that started with the iPhone X, meaning it has Face ID, a large 6.1-inch screen, and comes in 6 different colors instead of the 3 that the iPhone SE comes in. But then there's the iPhone 11 that costs $100 more. It has a newer processor and newer cameras, including an ultra-wide camera that the XR doesn't have. But the XR is $100 cheaper. So if you're looking for an affordable 4G iPhone that embraces Apple's new design language, I highly recommend the iPhone XR. In fact, it's a CNET editor's choice, and I'll say this, it's even better if you can get more storage and upgrade to 128GB. So that's all I've got, but I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite iPhone? What's the iPhone you recommend for your friends or family? Are there other iPhones that didn't make this list that are maybe available at third-party resellers? Throw your thoughts in the comments.